So the next book I read was called Poisonwood Bible. And it probably won't be as good as a review as the Sarah's Keys, because I just finished Sarah Keys, and Poisonwood Bible was like a month ago. So anyway, so Poisonwood Bible is a really long book, but it's really good. Like, it was really sad too. Was it as sad as Sarah's Keys? Yeah, it was sad. It was like, you hate the characters. First of all, were amazing. Like, each character, you understood them and you understood why they did things. The way it was written was really good. The ending, just like Sarah's Key, was just too long. Like, let's just get to it. It's just too, I mean, like, it could have ended after 200 pages, really. Like, it didn't need to be. Let me see, where is Poisonwood Bible? How many pages is this? I actually purchased this too on my Kindle. 543 pages. It's 543 pages, and it could have been finished at 300 pages. She could have ended it. The author could have been like, I'm finished. It's done. I mean, once they leave Africa, done. Okay, what is the story about? Sorry, I'm just going into it. Not even telling you what the story's about. It's about a missionary family, a dad who's a missionary. He's all into the he's a Christian, and he's a preacher, and he decides to go push his missionary into Africa. But it was really the place, it was like in like the 50s. I forgot what era, but it's like the 50s. It's when they were racist, you know, like, it's still segregations. They went to all white school, and you know, so it's at that time, and they go to the Congo. Yes, they go to the Congo, and it's really good because they're like, I mean, he's just like so arrogant because he's a Christian. Like, everyone below who's not Christianity are lost and confused, and they're all gonna rot in hell. And he goes to Africa, and they're not dressed, so then he immediately condemns the lady who is naked and her breasts are out, because that is not Christian like. It's just crazy. And then they talk about how they're so American, how they tried to take all these things that really were not even important in Africa. There's 3 daughters, there's a wife, and there's a husband. The husband ends up being a little cuckoo because he becomes too obsessed with Christianity. He's too religious, so religious that he doesn't even care about what's happening to his family, to his children. He doesn't even care what's happening to the culture. He didn't even care about learning the culture before he went in to try to tell them that Christianity is the best thing for them. Once he comes, he tries to baptize them. He didn't know that the river that he was trying to baptize them in actually killed a little kid before with a crocodile. And then, like, who would want to go get baptized with that? So they thought, like, because there was a language barrier as well, they thought, he's trying to feed our kids to the crocodiles. That's what they thought baptism meant. So it's just really fun. It's some funny stuff. The characters, I said, are really, really good. They're really, because there's a youngest daughter. There's like twins. Yes, there's twins. And then there's the oldest daughter. The oldest daughter is so like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so pretty. And she is so superficial. It is just ridiculous. She's superficial. She only cares about herself. She's selfish. She's self-absorbed. So that's the oldest. The twins, one is handicapped, and the other one is just very tomboyish. And then there's just the youngest one, and she's just young. And then it's sad because this is a spoiler, she passed away. That is just like, oh no, I don't want to do it. I cried several times while reading this book. The book is really good. I think at the end, I think like when you get to like, once they leave Africa, put the book down. Say, okay, I'm finished. We don't need to continue this anymore, because we go into, okay, so let's say they get to Africa when they're like 12, the twins. They either get to Africa when they're 12 or 14. They're like 50 years old when the book ends. We don't need to know that. It is ridiculous. You know, it's just, I'm not a fan of that. I think that's just, in that, the book needed to end right there, but it didn't. It kept going and going and going. I mean, you know what businesses, you know who they marry. I mean, into details, you know about the political issues of the Congo. It was just too much. But, however, overall, I really, really liked the book. Would I read it again? Yes, I would read it again. But, I mean, I would put it away after. I mean, that was a whole nother story. It could have been a part 2. It could have been a series. But then they would have said, oh, the second book was so not good. Because, you know, in the series, usually all the books are not as good as the other books. Anyway. So, yeah. So, the plot was excellent. The storyline was just amazing. The characters were great. I mean, you end up hating the husband. And this is how they do it. Each chapter is each character, except for the husband. We never get in the husband's head. We get in all the kids' heads. And the wife Okay, let me just explain. The first chapter is a little like, what the hell is going on? I don't know what's going on. But once he gets past that, then the story just kicks up and it goes good. Because the wife, whenever it was her turn to write, whenever it was her chapter, she talked almost like it was a poetry. Like, what? Like Shakespeare. Like you needed a translation. That's how that part was. But as you get more into the book, when she starts writing, you understand like, oh, okay, she's like back and forth. You know, she's in Africa, and then she's like not in Africa. Then she's at the library, and there's no libraries in Africa, so you're like, what's going on? Then she's at her computer. There's no computers in Africa, and even at the time they were in Africa, there weren't any computers, so what are we doing? And so you start to realize like she's flip-flopping, not even in location, but flip-flopping in time within one chapter. So yeah, that was interesting. However, I still thought it was a good book. How many stars would I give this book? I would give it a 4. I would have given it a 5 if she would have ended the book. Let that be a lesson to you, Barbara. In the book, it was too long and dry, but it was so sad. It made me cry. And if it can make you cry, I think that's a good book. But who wants to cry, right? It still was a good book. It was some little funny stuff in it because the dad was such a jerk. He was such a jerk. And so, and then also you learn about the culture. I felt like I was in the Congo. I felt like I was cooking. I felt like I lived there. I felt like I seen it. I felt like I smelled it. It was amazing. So that book, I give 4 stars out of 5. That is called the Poisonwood Bible. Thank you. Please join in, subscribe. It's free. Bye.